Okay, in an earlier video, we looked at the quick analysis. I just want to show you that it also does give you the ability to do auto sums. So let's say, remember, it appears when you highlight a range. You'll see this little icon over there. And if you click on that, we looked at the formatting in an earlier video, but there's also a totals option. And if I click on that, it'll give me various options to do a total. So if I've already got that range highlighted and I click on sum, you can immediately see it's giving me a sum for that, right? Let's assume I did this way over here, and I click over that, and I want to show you something here now. So if I click now, look at this. There's two types of sums. There's one that shows a blue at the bottom, which means that it should appear beneath the total, and there's one that appears on the side. Now, if I'm highlighting across, I would want to select this one. If I select this one over here, it's going to tell me there's data already here. Do you want to replace it? And underneath it here, it's going to replace the sum of just the highlighted area underneath, which is going to overwrite my data. So let me just show you what happens when I do that. You can see it's putting formulas here, sum, which is obviously incorrect, right? So I'm going to undo that. And what I want to show you is that when you were highlighting that way, you basically would click on the totals, and then you would click on this one over here. So look at the color. It shows you the yellow is going to appear on the right-hand side of your selected range. So when I do that, it actually clicks there. Now, what's really nice about this, just to show you, you wouldn't necessarily only do it for one, right? Let's say I wanted a sum across, I wanted to know the total sales for not just carnations for January, February, and March, but for each product line. So what I would do is I could just highlight the whole range, click on that, and tell it under the totals, give me a sum on the right-hand side. And immediately you can see it's telling me that the total sum of carnations, if I sum up these three numbers over here, it'll give me 158756, and similarly for the next row for daffodils, it'll sum up that, and that. And then at the same time, while I've still got this row highlighted, I could also actually put in the sum below it. So I could look at the total sales for January. So let's just click on that. You can see that's the total sales for January. If I go on to this next one and press the F2 edit, February, March, and similarly here, it's summing up the total daisies, total tulips, total roses. You get the idea. So you saw how quickly it was to do that. So that's just one nice feature to be aware of. You don't necessarily have to use this feature. I think what happens is most people find a particular method or sort of particular ways of doing things which they're comfortable with. But it is helpful to know that this feature is available. One more thing I do actually want to show you that I think is also quite helpful, some additional analysis, is if I highlight this, right? So this is the total sales per product, right? Now let's say I want to know that across the 3 months, what percentage of the total sales did each product actually make? Now, I could manually work out the formula. I could say equals to this here divided by the sum of all of it, and I would have to do that for each one, right? But if I highlight this range over here, and I click on the quick analysis, and I go to the totals, right? You can see, I can say on the right-hand side here, right, I want a percentage of total. And when I do that, you can see it tells me that carnations makes up 15% or 15.11% of the total sales. Daffodils makes up 10.91% of the sales. Now, obviously, if I put in an auto sum here, this should add up to 100%. So let's just do that. And you can see if I hit enter, it's 100%. So this shows you the breakdown of sales by each product, and that's looking at the sum of all the 3 months sales. And I could do the same thing if I highlighted this and I said, okay, give me the split of sales across months. I go to totals and I say, okay, using the blue option now, percentage of total below it, and I say click on that. Immediately I can see that January made up 34.62% of the sales, February made up 32.67%, and so forth. So when you're looking at proportions and that, this is just a nice tool that can quickly work out the formulas for you. And you can even see in here like how these formulas are actually worked out. It's basically saying take that number, right, sum of C12, and divide it by the sum of all of them. So the sum of all of them would make up the total sales, and this is divided by that, and it automatically also formats it for you as a percentage.